Welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little motivation, a little inspiration, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I'm Mike Jones from Virginia, and my gratitude this morning is sort of related to Jay's topic, how extended family can come together with a common goal in mind.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine for this Monday. My name is Earl Rule, hailing out of beautiful North Carolina. And my gratitude for this morning is starting off the week on the right note and learn more about ourselves and what we can do in our life.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Jay Anderson from wild, wonderful West Virginia. Uh, my gratitude is once again Mother Nature. So astonishing what this lady does for us. It's just amazing. And the kicker is this lady found her gorilla. She knows what she's doing.
Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is I am grateful to live in the United States of America and I am safe and sound. I'm praying for everybody that's involved in everything that's going on in the Middle East. So prayers are out to them. Um, Today, Jay's topic was find your gorilla. Um, and he's meaning goals, right? Goals are more like gorillas. And we kind of have to find out how to track them, right? He was talking about how he went to a sanctuary in Rwanda. And a sanctuary is not like a zoo. A sanctuary is actually like a lot of land where gorillas can go wherever they want, right? They can roam wherever they want in that land, right? So he visited this. They hiked for hours through the jungle trying to find a gorilla. They did eventually find them, but the trackers, they have trackers that go and find them, right? So the trackers focus on finding the first clue, like a footprint, trees broken or a branch broken or something like that. That way, that's how they track the gorillas, right? So when it comes to our goal setting, that once we have a desired outcome, right? And it's clear that our path will be as clear as well. That's how we feel. We feel that once we have this goal, we're going to have a clear path. That's not always the case. We wish, right? You have to take one step at a time, kind of like the trackers, taking one step at a time, right? Let the clue guide us of which way we're supposed to come. Let our goals be about discovery and following the signs. You do have to be present in the moment and remain open to where this is going to take you, right? Because our goals sometimes they might be a little outlandish, or we might not be able to find the next step. But what he did say is how do you approach your goals? What signs do you pay attention to? Are there things you miss? Can you become more like a tracker, like the gorilla trackers, right? Where they're looking for the next piece, picking that up and using that, right? I am huge on goals. I make them every year. I make them quarterly, monthly, weekly. I have them set out to daily so that I can try to get them, right? I want to hit my goal. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Um, Christine, I think you spot on something when you said you have to be present in the moment, because when you're doing your goals, especially like you're doing on a daily basis. Are we doing things that we need to do to achieve our goals and to see any results? Are we following a plan, or hopefully we're making a plan? Are we following our plan to what it is that's going to elevate us to the next step and what it is we need to do?
Right. And not only just following your plan, right? Are we tracking? Are you looking at the numbers? You guys, I just did this for February. Like literally, Saturday was my end of month for February, and I did all of our numbers out, trying to figure out if we're going to hit our goals or not, or are we on track or on pace, or, like looking for the next clue, right? And I do this every Saturday or Sunday. I usually try to do it on Saturdays, but sometimes I don't have all the numbers in Saturdays, so sometimes I have to push it to Sunday. But every week I do this. Every single week I'm tracking, okay, did we hit our goals? Did we not? And then I have to track them again for the month. And then at the end of March, I'll track them for the quarter. Are we on pace? Are we not on pace? What's happening? Like, are there blind spots that we missed? because there's blind spots when, especially with goals, right? Especially when you're talking about a yearly goal, because it is kind of a bigger goal. We have to wait for a whole year for it. That's why we have to break it down into monthly or quarterly, monthly, and weekly goals, and daily almost.
Right. And when we're tracking our goals, and I think in any kind of career what we have, obviously there's going to be a little ups and downs along the way. It's a matter of balancing. And are we doing the balancing as well as tracking each and every day of what we're supposed to be doing? And what does it look like? Are we taking steps forward? Is it giving us the positive results? Or do we need to take 2 steps back and maybe pivot just a little bit to get to where we need to be? And I think, not only do you track for tracking, but take notes on paper about that, because sometimes when you're writing in your diary or in your book, whatever it is that you use to track your events, your goals, and your dreams for that matter, um, are we focused? Are we in the moment? That's that's what I'll leave that at that. How about you, Jay? What do you think?
Well, I think it's pretty clear, cut and dry. I think everything both of you two have said is so true. I I pose this question. If you're setting goals, you're trying to find your gorilla. If you do not track during the journey of finding that gorilla, have you really set a goal? Have you really, I mean, how do you know the direction?
How do you even know if you're going the right direction?
Do you even know that you're going in the right direction? I wrote down a couple of things that Jay said during his talk there, and one of the things that they said trackers do for trying to find gorillas is uh, examine the outcome forever. Didn't say for a week, for a day, for a quarter, for a year, said forever. That the tracker does that. You stay on course and you do that because I think a sense of purpose comes into play during this journey. Then the second one that I wrote down, and this is kind of a very common thread for Jay Shetty, uh, but he'll word it just a little differently in each segment. But this holds true, I think, 100% of the time. Pay attention to each step along the way. And that paying attention is actually tracking something in my mind. If we're aware of it and we can track it, at least it tells us where to go. You know, I love the analogy, find your gorilla. The reason being is, did they not say they only during this search, Christine, that they found a gorilla, one? Okay. Or maybe they didn't find any. Okay. That means
So
that
they
you're
found them. He did say they found them.
okay. But still, your goals are always changing. When you set goals, it's not just one thing and how to get there is a flat line. That's not life. So your goals are constantly changing. Whether you change your own personal why, whether the first direction in getting to that particular goal has to be altered because that direction may not be working for you. Doesn't mean that your goal necessarily has to change, but it has to shift. How do I reach that? Or as you said, Christine, sometimes we set a lofty goal. Setting goals takes practice. It's not, you can't just do it once and say, okay, I understand this. It doesn't work that way. So sometimes when you set lofty goals, you realize, but wait a second, that's very ambitious. maybe not quite doable during this one portion that I'm trying to set. Maybe down the road it could be. So you have to be constantly chasing that gorilla, and chasing, I mean adjusting your journey to a goal.
And I think we underestimate what we're capable of. So sometimes our goals aren't like they're not as big as they should be, right? Because we underestimate like what we can get accomplished.
Then
But
he also said one other thing. May you find or have peace. May you find or have purpose. Then he changed the last one, which generally was happiness, to may you have and hope that you find your gorilla.
Mike?
I kind of took a slightly different take. The goal didn't change. The goal was always to find a gorilla, but you never knew what direction you were going to go in based on the signs and the environment. So we our goal, I think, whether it be a numbers goal or a growth goal or a reading goal, it's always, well, you do adjust it from time to time, but it can be constant, but you'll have different ways of getting there.
For sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
For example, I'm probably closer to meeting my reading goal this year than I have in the past because I now have books on my phone where I don't have to rely on sitting in a chair, picking up a book and turning pages.
So you like it on your phone better. See, and that's a different path, right? When we think about a reading goal, I'm just going to dissect this down just a little bit. So we think about a reading goal. Let's just say it's 10 pages a day. I'm going to read 10 pages a day for the next year, right? Every day I'm going to read 10 pages. Okay, we got to track that, right? Are we reading, and we can track it daily or weekly or both. And then like, okay, so for me, I have to pick up a book. I don't like reading on my phone. So I like the book. I just like having it in my hand. I don't like listening to it. I don't like reading it on my phone. But for Mike, his path may be that he likes to read it on his phone.
I don't necessarily like it, but I find it that it's there and it eliminates the
Easier
excuse,
access.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to
Convenience.
accomplish your goal, right?
Convenience. Yeah.
Yeah. So same goal, but different paths, right? And I think that's what Jay's trying to get at is we a lot of times focus on the end, right? Like we're focusing on the result. And instead we should be focusing on the journey. We should be focusing on each one of those steps we're taking, each one of those clues that are going to lead us to the gorilla, right?
Each step along the way. Because that's what you have to track. And Mike, I don't think your thought was any different really than all three of ours. A goal was a goal was a goal for sure, but I think it's the journey how we get there. It might be slow, it might be fast. The faster that we track it, then the better opportunities we have to adjust.
You're tracking what doesn't work so you don't repeat that, right?
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
ask yourself, like a part of my weekly routine on Saturdays or Sundays is to ask myself, what improvement can I make for next week to help me reach my goal? What do I need to stop doing? What can I improve on? Because some things, and maybe sometimes as we're going through and we have all these goals listed out, right? We spend some time in December thinking about goals, right? For the year. Sometimes we might have put a goal in there that we don't really want to necessarily hit, that we don't really care about that much, right? And the tracking allows us to understand that that goal may not be part of our actual overall goal, right?
Well, Christine, you just hit on something. What we say in December, tracking what we need to do in 2026, and I think we need to do is take small chunks of it at first and make it obtainable as we get into the new year. Because obviously, most people need to pivot something, whether it's their activity, the timing. Everyone's different in their career, and when you're on a journey, and this might be a little bit off the path, but here's something. Test yourself for 30 days. 30 days. What can you do in that 30 days as part of your goal? Make sure you track it in that 30 days to see what needs to be changed, what's working, what's not. Because in that time frame, you'd be amazed. You may have to make some changes for the positive, and you know what it is. And if it is working, keep going with it. But if it's not, okay, after that 30 days, what did I learn from it? What lessons did I learn from it? And how can I make changes to be better myself in my career and even myself?
Yeah. Love that.
So, and I've talked about this before. You can look at it in another direction. A lot of times, goals, we'll call a goal the root problem. There are a lot of times that there's symptoms to getting to this goal, to the root problem. And we're misled from the symptom, thinking that it is the goal or the problem, and we work from that angle. In reality, it was only a symptom. It was never the root of the problem, meaning that the direction sometimes to a goal was only a symptom. It was never the journey to get to the goal. So I think, that's why the common thread with all of his stuff is everything we do is self-awareness. Everything that if we can focus on and pay attention to, if we just take the time to sit down and look at things, the picture can be clearer than fuzzy or foggy. And I think we just have to take the approach on a daily basis. Okay, what is it before the end of the day that I'm trying to get done? Problem becomes life gets in the way and we forget about this. We don't actually exercise this. We haven't made it, we're not doing it consecutively enough to make it a habit yet. There are some people that do. Please don't get me wrong. For you guys, kudos. The majority of us, me included, I've got to get better at this because I know it will help me get to the end solution. I know that. But am I being lazy about it? Yeah, because why? Because I let life get in the way. Why? Because it does. Why? Because it does. Okay, no. Why? Because it does. No, what's your excuse? I don't have one. It's just life gets in the way. It's an excuse, folks. And you got to pay, hopefully, yeah, you got to pay attention to that. So
you got to put your mindset in that direction.
And
but see how easy it is?
Yeah.
How easy it is to get off track? I mean, why? Because it does. That's the point that I think Jay Shetty's trying to hone in on us. And I know that sounded redundant and stupid, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have days that there's something important that you have to do that's a part of your business or your career, and you don't want to do it, but you have to push yourself to do it because you know it has to be done. And and a lot of times it's better said than done to a lot of people, and people put things off, say, oh no, tomorrow's another day. Well, no, wait a minute. How important is this? How serious are you about what you're doing? All right. Take little chunks out of that. Because if you don't do it, you're going to regret the next day and say, why am I doing this? Then you have to look yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, what is my why? What is my goal? So sometimes, and believe it or not, I've had days where I didn't want to pick up the phone, or just days where I want to push things aside, and actually it turned into something more productive. So, there are days where you don't want to do something, but you have to do it, and you don't know what's laying on the other side of the door, and you never know. So don't put things off for today, for tomorrow that you can't do, because you just don't know what it's going to bring you.
What's the phrase that we at one time symmetry within symmetry we listened to? Embrace the suck.
Right, exactly.
Because a lot of this stuff we don't do because we don't want to embrace the suck.
Or
Well,
maybe
listen,
we're just not going to be disciplined to do it because you guys like,
procrastination. Yeah.
yeah, like you guys have just like, so there's a couple things here. One is you notice like people make goals, like their goal for the end of the year is to start working out or be fit or some goal with fitness, right? It's why the gyms are packed for the first 3 weeks of January. And then they go back to normal because what happens? Life gets in the way. People are done. They haven't built the habit enough to keep going to the gym, right? You guys, and like so this year, my goal was I got a stand-up desk, I got a walking pad, because last year I only was making about 5,000 steps a day. That's it. And that was walking in the morning. That's where I got the majority of my steps from.
Same here.
Because when you work from home, you're usually sitting in front of a computer desk all day. Well, I wanted a walking pad. I was like, my goal is to be fit by the end of December of 2026, right? Well, so my goal was, okay, I'm going to increase my steps to 7,500 in January, right? Because I knew if I went straight to 10,000, it would put me out. So I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm going to go to 7,500 first, and then I'll hit 10,000 in February. Well, guess what? I track my numbers. I track them all. I track how many steps I do in a day so that I know. I probably missed my 10,000 steps probably 10 times in February. I can look to be certain, but my book's in the other room. But so I probably missed it at least 10 times, right? But I track it in order to know that so that next week I can do better, right? Maybe I only have one day where I miss it instead of 2 or 3. So tracking is important. Go ahead, Earl.
I just want to say, and I don't know how many people want to admit this, but sometimes working from home can be your own worst enemy. If you
Oh
if
yeah.
you if you're not,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because right, as much as we hear people, oh, I rather have something work from home remotely, and sometimes that can lead to lack of discipline, lack of self motivation or the goals because it's not as easy as you think it is because you got to be tough. You got to be tough and disciplined with it.
Yeah, you got to hold yourself accountable. Like you are holding yourself accountable.
Well, right, and then that's the number one thing. But Jay, Jay, where's your watch? Oh,
I'll get back to this in an hour.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
hold on. Hold on. Isn't that a beautiful watch that I have on?
Yeah.
Is that a Timex?
When you do work for yourself, okay, and uh and you don't have other employees that you have to always make sure that they're doing something, trying to fulfill their workday as well. This imaginary watch that you come on becomes so powerful and it drains you. Oh, you know what, man, I just don't feel quite right. I'll get back to this in an hour. Well, how do you know when an hour is? Just saying, what you said, Earl, is spot the freaking on.
And
Like
sometimes working from home can create your enemies. Family. Oh, oh, you can.
especially well, like in my situation, I have everybody here is home all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like my kids, so they can hijack your day. And sometimes we allow it to happen, right? We allow it to happen because we're we're humans, right?
Oh, yeah. It's easier to say yes to family when you work for yourself.
And even things like, oh, I'll do a good deed and empty the dishwasher, right? It's like, but it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when
Like
we
you're
have,
going to use all those dishes before the day's out. Wait a second. Let me go empty the dishwasher. I got time. Uh,
Yeah,
Hey, folks, I think we all can see that we're not licensed therapists, but this is just so much fun. This is the type of stuff we do on a daily basis. We listen to the app Calm, Inside Calm. You can find Jay Shetty and he just sheds golden nuggets on us every day. We love listening to him and then trying to dissect what he really means. Part of personal growth is acknowledging it. Uh, we talked about embracing the suck, and this is where we embrace the suck because we talk about it. The transparency is real here, and we enjoy doing it. Please join us every day.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. We certainly hope you'll come back for more and have fun with us. Peace. Have a great day.
It's